Hello, welcome to episode 135 of the Sock Bunny Knit and Fit video podcast. My name is Kimberly, also known as Sock Bunny, and I'm recording in sunny Florida in the United States of America. And today I'm actually out on my back porch. If it's too loud, I won't do this again, so I apologize if there's any background noise. There is a guy sawing in the neighborhood behind us, and we are near the airport, so sometimes airplanes will go over, but hopefully it won't be too annoying. I am Sock Bunny on Ravelry, Instagram, and Twitter only these days. I did decide to give up most of my social media because it was just taking up too much of my time. And I did want to say a big thank you to my daughter, Rachel. She made a new graphic for YouTube for the podcast. So hopefully you have seen that and you like it. And I might go back and eventually do it for all episodes, but at least for all episodes going forward, I'll use the new graphic. So we'll just have to see. So, what are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about finished objects, works in progress, upcoming events, fitness, tips and tricks, what I'm watching and reading, and favorite things. First, I want to talk about some giveaways that we have going on. Two people that were vendors at the Sock Bunny Retreat in February have donated prizes, and I'll be drawing the first podcast in May. I will draw the winners. So first of all, we have this awesome Coca-Cola project bag that was donated by Rainstorm Studios, and here is her card. She's Rainstorm Studios on Etsy. And for this one, go to the Ravelry group and write a poem to Coke or about your love for Coke, or it could be a haiku or whatever. And so far, everybody has posted really cool stuff in there. And then we have some yarn to give away, which is this awesome yarn from Daisy Knits. Here's her card. And for this one, you need to tell me something, go to the Ravelry group and tell me something funny, positive, a cartoon, a YouTube video, something like that. So again, I will draw the winners for those the first podcast in May. And then the other giveaway I have going on is from me, and I'm going to be drawing winners for I'm going to randomly draw 10 winners for my newest pattern, which is the flamingo hat, that flamingo fair owl hat, which is called Florida Memories Fair Owl Hat. And here is, it's in 3 sizes, so this is a small version I did, this is the large version I did, and this is a medium version, which I did, which is actually pink, but it's showing up orange, probably because I'm wearing orange today. So I'll draw 10 random winners for that. So go to the Ravelry group and enter those awesome giveaways. And thank you to the ladies who are donating the yarn and the bag. I really do appreciate it. So let's talk about finished objects. The first finished object is something I made for Rachel's boyfriend Thomas, and he asked me to make him a red beanie. So here it is, and this is actually showing pretty true to color. This is the yarn is Ella Ray Classic. I got it at the local yarn store, and I knit it on size 7 using 2 circulars, which is my favorite method for knitting hats. So there you go, plain red boring beanie, but he'll love it. He asked me for that forever ago, so I'm glad to be done with it. We actually have 4 finished objects this episode, which is like miraculous. And then my next finished object is my March socks, although I didn't make socks because I decided this yarn wanted to be a shawl, and I'm going to try to remember, I keep saying this, I'm going to try to remember next episode to show you my sock collection, and you'll see why I don't need to knit any more socks right now. But I just finished this a couple of days ago, and this is a Bactus, and it's a really easy free pattern. Basically, you cast on 4 stitches, knit until you've used half your yarn, and then you bind off. Well, and then you decrease every 4 rows. Okay, cast on 4, increase every 4 rows, use half your yarn, decrease every 4 rows, and then bind off. So last time you guys saw it, I had just started it, and I actually saved the stitch marker from where the last time you guys saw it. So that was about a month ago. So here we go. And it actually goes perfectly with what I'm wearing today, although I won't put it on because it's 80 something degrees out here. But I really love this. This is Desert Vista Dye Works in her citrus colorway. It's a self-striping sock yarn, and I love it. And of course, the ends have not been woven in yet, but they will be. And I will give it a nice soak and let it hang out. I don't really block these per se, anything that's like garter stitch like this, because it's just, you don't really need to. But I will give it a nice bath and then just lay it out to dry. So, and that was in my awesome Coca-Cola bag from Rainstorm Studios. And I have this much sock yarn left over from this pattern. If you didn't watch last episode, what I did is I counted, when I wound this into a ball, I counted how many stripe repeats there were, and then did a little bit less than half of those for the increase, and then a little bit less than half for the decrease, and then the increase, if that makes any sense. So basically what I did is I had to do 13 repeats. I had started at this end. I did 13 repeats of green, orange, yellow, green, orange, yellow, green, orange, yellow. Then I started the decreases, did 13 repeats of that. So this is what I have left, and this is going to be used on my sock yarn blanket, which you will see momentarily. So that is a very fun project, and if you are interested in making one or something similar, JD from the Twisted Strands podcast is having a Bactus along, and it starts actually today, April 16th, and ends May 31st, and she's going to be making the lacy Bactus. But if you go into Ravelry in the pattern area, there's an airplane, you probably hear it. It's not too loud when you're indoors with the door closed, so. So if you want to, just go to Ravelry, type in Bactus. There are a lot of similar patterns based on that. And oh, it's a helicopter behind us. I can see it. Um, if you go, there are crochet versions, loom knit versions, and other knit patterns based on the Bactus shawl. So you can go and pick one of those and do her knit along. Again, it starts today, April 16th, and ends on May 31st. The next finished project you saw last time, and it is my Citron, and I was using Noro lace weight, and I end up using a little bit less than half of the ball, so I could make another one, or I think I have a different project in mind for this, but only the future will tell. But I did go ahead, this is a shawlette, I haven't blocked it yet, so it's going to be bigger than this when I finish, but because you can see it stretches quite a bit, like if you pull on it, it does stretch quite a bit. So this will be, it's a shawlette, it will be bigger. But this is the Citron. I did yarn overs. In the pattern, they tell you to do make one. You could do a lifted bar increase if you wanted to, or a knit front back. I chose to do yarn overs, and I love it very, very much. I definitely will knit this pattern again. This is my second time knitting it, and I really like it. So I knit it as the pattern directed. I did not make it any larger, but you definitely could easily make it larger. So definitely love that. I'll block it before the next episode, hopefully, so you guys can see how much it stretches. And lastly, I don't have it with me, and I am happy about that. I finished Sarah's sweater. Yes, the sweater I started last August. And it was the chocolate stout sweater in Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in the Sapphire Heather colorway. I did take pictures, and I could show you one or two. It fits her perfectly. She's very happy with it. She actually got to come home the day after Easter, the 6th, and was home for almost a week. So I had everything done except for the buttons. And so she and I went and picked out buttons, and she got buttons that she liked. I sewed them on. She took it home with her, and I am super happy that sweater is gone. So let me show you pictures. And she's super happy with it. Although it's she might get maybe a few more weeks. I think the high is in the 50s and 60s right now, so she might get to wear it indoors some. But I'm trying to find a picture of her wearing it. Might not be able to see this very well, but let's see. Yeah, there you go. You can see. I haven't created a project page for this on Ravelry yet, but I will do that. And oh, here's a close-up of the buttons that she did. Although color is not true. It's actually a lot darker than that. The buttons were darker and the yarn is darker. Let's see. Here's another good shot of her wearing it. So we are all super happy. Now we don't have to listen to me complain about this anymore. And I am pretty burned out on cables. They were only 1x1 cables, but I've done enough cables for a while. So I'm not going to do any cabled projects for a while. So that is my last of the finished objects. I'm super happy. And let's talk about works in progress. I actually only have one thing that nope, two things are currently what I would call works in progress. I have a couple of things that are in hibernation, but you'll see them later. So the first is my sock yarn blanket. Since the last time you saw it, I've added 33 squares. I did have stitch markers on those squares, but I had to take them off because I needed them for a different project, which I will talk about. So you can see that it has gotten relatively large. I think I'm on the 6th or 7th row, and these are all, most of the ones that are on the top 2 rows are new ones. This one is a sparkly yarn, and I forgot to bring them out, but in Joann's and Michael's and other craft stores, Lion Brand has these little like sampler little balls of yarn. They're called bonbons. I think that's what they're called. And this I got the sparkly pack, and this is an orange sparkly one. The yarn was a little bit annoying to work with because it kept twisting back on itself, and it's not the softest of yarns, but hey, this is for a blanket. So anyway, I'll try to remember to bring those on a future episode so you can see them. And here we go. So you can see it is going to fit a twin size bed, and there you go. So this is still, oh, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do a square a day, and what I do, I have a basket now that I'm keeping it with near my knitting chair, and I have a calendar in there, and every time I finish a square I mark off that day, and I'm trying to do a square a day. And so far I've been able to keep up. I started that in March, doing a square a day. So that is one of my works in progress. The other work in progress that is currently on the needles, I just started a few days ago, and it's in my awesome cat bag from Denise of the Knitting Den podcast, or Kiki Boo Bags is her Etsy shop. And this is a joint knit along I'm doing, just the two of us, my friend Girldale and I are doing. And we are making the February lady sweater. Thousands of people have made this. It's based on the February baby sweater in Elizabeth Zimmerman's Knitter's Almanac, which is a great book. So you can see that I have cast on and done a few rows, and I've done there are 3 buttons at the top if you knit it per pattern, and so I did the 3 buttonholes, and it's a lot more greeny teal than what you're seeing there. And this is all I have left of the first ball, which we will talk about. I will talk about this yarn again in a future segment. And this is Lion Brand Cottonies. Girl Dale gifted me enough to do a sweater, so thank you, Dale, for that. And I love this color. And she's doing the same sweater, but in a blue, like a more denim-y blue. So this is on size 7 needles. It calls for 8s, but when I did the swatch with the 8, I didn't like the fabric that I got, so I'm doing 7s, which I'm much happier with. And we don't have a deadline for this one. We're just knitting it as we can. So future projects, what I want to work on, and I might be casting this on pretty soon. I'd want to do a featherweight cardigan, and I am going to do it out of lace weight. A lot of people do it out of fingering. You could do it out of fingering or lace weight, but I had dyed about a year ago. I dyed some pink, which is more cotton candy pink than what you're seeing there. I had dyed a pink, 2 balls of this actually of lace weight. So that's what I'll be making my featherweight out of. So I probably will be casting this on soon and just work on both sweaters simultaneously. Heavier yarn I can only work on for so long and my hands start hurting and my wrist. Lighter yarn I can knit on it for hours and hours and not have any problems. So I might just like work an hour on that and then work on this. That's probably what I'll do. And then another thing, I can't decide what to do, but as you might remember, I do a brown paper bag every month for my personal sock yarn club. And I have not decided what to do with the April yarn yet. Yes, I know it's halfway through April. I'm not going to make socks out of it. Oop, wrong thing here. Where's the label? Oh, here it is. This is yarn that I got at Rhinebeck in 2013, and it is Socks That Rock, and they're lightweight, and the colorway is Little Bo Peep, and I believe it was an exclusive colorway for Rhinebeck. And I don't even think a lot of people have it stashed in Ravelry. I think only one person had it stashed. So I can't decide what to make, but I'm leaning towards making another Bactus and joining in with JD for her knit along. So I might be doing that. Either that, or I might go back to the old classics and do a Multnomah. Multnomah, I think, was my first lace shawl, and that one has like a garter stitch panel at the top, and then you do like some wavy lace pattern at the bottom. And I remember I was such a new knitter when I did that I had no idea what I was doing. My stitch count was off on almost every row, but I just kept going. So I think I would have a much easier time. So it's going to be one of those two. You'll find out on the next episode. Okay, so what do we have for upcoming events? The Woolly Trot, which is being hosted by Sarah, who is Rain Lover Knits. And that is a virtual 5K, and Girldale and I are going to be doing that. And you could do it any time between May 24th and May 30th. So she and I will be doing that. We'll be walking it. And then Sockstravaganza, don't forget, is going to be June, July, and August of 2015. And if you have any pair of socks that's under 50% done, 50% or under done, you can finish it during Sockstravaganza, or you can, of course, cast on new. There'll be many, many categories, and you can cross post in as many categories as your sock will fit into, your pair of socks will fit into. So that's going to be fun. And then probably in May, I'll go ahead and create the Sockstravaganza threads just so you can get an idea of what the categories are going to be and plan accordingly. And then February 4th through the 6th, 2016 will be the Sock Bunny Retreat for 2016, and I will be taking signups starting August 1st. So let's talk about fitness. I have a major announcement to make. If you will remember, a long time ago, 2 years ago actually, I made this poster, and this is a poster for 3,650,000 steps. And what that is 365 days times 10,000 steps. It did take me 2 years to get there, but before, let's see, my Fitbit anniversary is April 6th. But before even then, I think it was like mid-March, I had already reached my goal. So I would say on average, I'm doing about 5,000 steps a day, even though lately I've been doing a lot more. But what I do is every 300,000 steps, I give myself a reward. And I didn't fill it in, but I did buy myself a couple of Sims games. Like I bought the Sims 4 Get to Work expansion pack that just came out. And actually down here I bought, Katy Perry has an expansion pack for Sims 3. Don't laugh at me, I bought it. So I am very proud of myself for that. I haven't decided what my next goal is going to be. I am trying to do 10,000 steps a day as many days as possible. So far in April, I did miss on the 11th, and I missed again yesterday just because I was not feeling up to it. But I'm going to try as much as possible. I haven't made a poster. I think I need like maybe do May, June, July, August, try to do 4 months or something like that. I haven't decided. Part of me thinks I want to keep doing the steps, and then part of me says maybe I should be branching out and doing other kinds of exercise as well, like maybe yoga or something like that. So we'll see. I haven't decided yet. Oh, I did draw the March Fitness winner, and we had 169 posts and 21 participants in March for the Fitness Along, and the winner was number 119, and she has won before. I'm not going to say her name right, I'm sure. It's Sensei Day, and that's Elisa. Tell me how to say your name, but contact me and let me know which pattern you want on Ravelry that's giftable, $10 or less, or it could be multiple patterns. So if you're a newer viewer, what we do every month in the Sock Bunny group is if you have at least 10,000 steps on your pedometer, or you work out at least 30 consecutive minutes in a given day, you can join our fitness along, one post per day, and you can choose, like I said, up to a $10 giftable pattern on Ravelry, or multiple patterns that add up to $10. And congratulations, Elisa. And let me know how to say your name so I will say it next time, because you can win as many times as I draw your name. So keep on participating. Okay, let's talk about tips and tricks. And this tip and trick I did see on another podcast, and I relearned it myself this past week. So I'm going to share it with you. And hopefully in the future I will do this, even though I knew it and wasn't doing it. But you'll know in a second what I'm talking about. So if we look at my February lady sweater, you will notice that I already had to rejoin a ball of yarn because, see right here? See that? Because there should be, I mean, this is still the full first ball. Why is there a break in the yarn? Because there was a knot. Yes, there was a knot. So I was reminded of this recently and did not listen to her. Xena from the Little Yellow Uke podcast had recently shared on her podcast that she had a ball of yarn that she was using from the outside and came to a place where there was a break in the yarn. It wasn't even knotted. It just was like the yarn was just wound around the outside ball. So she reminded us that we should be winding our balls, rewinding them before we use them to make sure that there aren't any knots, because you don't want to be in the middle of a row and get to a knot. You want to be at the end of a row, theoretically. So when I go to use this next ball, I will wind it first, either by hand or using a ball winder, and find out if there's a knot in it ahead of time so I can plan accordingly. So that's just good knitting sense that she told us, and I didn't listen to her, and now I have to learn that lesson over myself. So and if you haven't watched Xena's podcast, you totally should. She's in England, she's adorable, and I really love her podcast. So go check her out, Little Yellow Uke, UKE for ukulele. All right, so that's it for tips and tricks. What I'm watching and reading, I don't even think I mentioned it last episode, and we're also near a train. So I don't think I mentioned it last episode, but I did finish watching Star Trek Deep Space Nine quite a while ago, but I don't think I mentioned it. He agrees. So I started watching Star Trek Voyager, which is the last series in Star Trek that I have not watched. He's going through a major intersection near here, so that's why he's honking his horn, in case you're wondering. Most of these things I don't hear when we're indoors with the doors closed, doors and windows closed. So anyway, so I am on Star Trek Voyager, and I'm actually already on season 5, and I'm really enjoying it. It did start off, I thought, a little bit slow, but it's gotten a lot better. I'm really enjoying it. So you know, I'm a Trekkie and I love my Star Trek. So after I finish watching this, I haven't decided. I might go back and watch either Enterprise or Next Generation. I haven't decided. It'll be one of the two probably, though. Okay, and then I want to talk about a book that I read, and the book is called The Martian. And I actually heard about this book on one of the tech podcasts that I watch, This Week in Google, which I'm way behind on. But anyway, so this book is called The Martian, and it's by Andy, I'm going to say Weir, W-E-I-R. And I'll just read you the synopsis that is on Amazon for the book. Okay, so it says 6 days ago, astronaut Mark Watney became one of the first people to walk on Mars. Now he's sure he'll be the first person to die there. After a dust storm nearly kills him and forces his crew to evacuate while thinking him dead, Mark finds himself stranded and completely alone with no way to even signal Earth that he's alive. Airplane. think it's another helicopter. Okay, so Mark finds himself stranded and completely alone with no way to even signal Earth that he's alive. And even if he could get the word out, his supplies would be gone long before a rescue could arrive. Chances are, though, he won't have time to starve to death. The damaged machinery, unforgiving environment, or plain old human error are much more likely to kill him first. But Mark isn't ready to give up yet. Drawing on his ingenuity, his engineering skills, and a relentless, dogged refusal to quit, he steadfastly confronts one seemingly insurmountable object. He steadfastly confronts one seemingly insurmountable obstacle after the next. Will his resourcefulness be enough to overcome the impossible odds against him? And it's not a book that I would typically read, but they raved so much about it on the podcast that I actually bought it for myself as one of my Advent gifts to myself. And I very, very much thoroughly enjoyed it. Once I started reading it, I could not put it down. It's definitely a page turner. The guy who wrote it is a genius. That's all I have to say. So highly, I give this 5 stars out of 5 stars. I highly recommend it. So if it sounds something you like, there is a Kindle version, and I don't know if there's a hardback version, but because I read it on the Kindle. Okay, next we're going to talk about favorite things, and this favorite thing is flamingos. You already know I like flamingos, right? If you've been watching for a while, you know I like flamingos. Well, I have 2 flamingo things to show. One is a little flamingo bag that Sam, oops, I got something on it. Oh, it's a feather. Sam from England, Knit Run Dig, gave this to me. And what I'm using this for is to keep my extra balls of yarn for my sock yarn blanket. And also the needles that I'm using size 3 DPNs. So when they're not in use, I have them in here. And you can see there's yarn in here, little tiny balls. Oh, and I did measure the other day, and and I think I'm only using like 2 grams for each of my squares. So I was just curious, so I decided, what I did is I measured a ball before I used it and measured it after. So, and I don't remember how many yards that was. I think I measured, but now I don't remember. Anyway, so yes, I love flamingos, but Girl Dale and I went to Sarasota weekend before last, I guess. Was it last weekend? No. I think it was the weekend before Sarah came home. Anyway, we went to the Tervis outlet in, okay, it's not in Sarasota because we ended up taking the long way there because to Google in my phone, I said Tervis, Sarasota, and it took us to a Tervis store in Sarasota. But we ended up going to the Tervis factory outlet. I think it's in Osprey, Florida. Anyway, make sure you put Tervis factory outlet if you're in the area and you're looking for their factory outlet store. So we went there, and I walked in the door and immediately freaked out because I saw something I've never seen before. They had Flamingo Tervises, Tervi, whichever one you want to call it. I'll take the handle off so you can see better. This is the largest one that they make. It has Tervises and pineapples. I love both. I mean, it has flamingos and pineapples, of which I love both. And it's pink and green. This could not be a more perfect Tervis. So this is the larger one. I think it's 24 ounces. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this one's 24 ounces. They sell the lids separately. They also sell the handles separately, so you can mix and match and coordinate. And they also sell the straws separately. And I've been drinking a lot of water. I've been trying to drink at least 3 of these a day, maybe more, but at least 3. And I will talk about how I'm getting to drink more water on a future episode. But if you have tips and tricks about how to drink more water, let me know what they are, and I'll share them on a future episode also. So I love my Flamingo Tervis. So sadly, my Coca-Cola Tervis has been relegated to 2nd place, although when I go to Busch Gardens, I'll still take it with me. But I love this thing so much. And if you haven't ever used a Tervis, they are insulated, and so they don't sweat. That is the #1 reason why I like it. I cannot stand having a glass that sweats because it's hot here in Florida. If you have a glass of ice water, it's going to sweat all over the place. I don't like that. So that's what I like about the Tervis. It keeps your cold water cold. Even if you, like, say I go, I fill this with ice water and I go shopping and I leave this in the car in between, like going from one shop to the other, the water, ice water stays cold. That is pretty miraculous. I don't think it does as good of a job on keeping hot stuff hot. I do have a smaller Bronco's Tervis that I use for my coffee in the morning, which is fine because by the time I chug that coffee down, it's still warm. But if I was going to let it sit for a long time, I don't think it would keep it as warm as other flasks might do. But there you go. So that is my favorite thing. And obviously, I do love flamingos, specifically Flamingo Tervis. So there we go. All right. So that is it for favorite things. So we're going to wrap up, and I just wanted to remind you that we do have a prayer request thread, and I always pray for you guys who watch, and especially if you have specific prayers, or if you have like a specific prayer and you want to message it to me privately, you could totally do that. And also, don't forget to enter the fitness thread, and that's about it. I will see you next time. I hope you have a great day, great week. Keep on crafting. Bye.